we'll be going over IRS Form 1040-NR, U.S. Non-Resident Alien Income Tax Return. So in a couple of prior videos, we went over the taxpayer information fields. We also dedicated a video to effective or income effectively connected with U.S. trade or business. In this section, we're going to complete the tax and credits section of this tax form. So we'll calculate, we'll help you figure out how you can calculate your tax bill, and then we'll as well as any credits that may be applied to it. And then in subsequent videos, we'll go over the payments portion, and finally the refund / how much you owe plus signature information. So again, if you want to see how we came up with the taxable income number up here, there's a video. What we're going to do is start with this information and then move accordingly. So in the form instructions, there specifically is direction to calculate the tax. So generally speaking, if your income is under $100,000, you would use a tax computation table. If your taxable income is $100,000 or more, then you would use the tax computation worksheet right after the tax tables. So I'm looking at the form 1040 instructions offline in a separate forum, but John Doe, he is a qualified surviving spouse right here, and so his taxable income on $52,400 for 2024 tax year happens to be let's see. 52,400. We are at, I believe, 5827. So remember, qualifying surviving spouse is basically treated as a married filing jointly. So in the tax tables, that is considered to be the status for a qualifying spouse. So 58,827. So that's just from the tax tables. Now there are some check boxes here. These are additional taxes that may apply to your situation. 8814 is a parent's election to include their child's unearned income. So if John Doe's daughter Elizabeth had investments of her own, John could make that decision to include her investment income as part of his. He would be completing IRS Form 8814. IRS Form 4972 has to do with lump sum distributions and the tax on that. Not a lot of taxpayers use that form, so if you don't need to, then you don't need to check that box. Also in the form instructions, there are other forms that you may calculate additional taxes on, and we'll put links in the show notes to all of these. So recapture of an education credit, which may not apply to you if you're filing Form 1040-NR. There a partner's audit liability under certain parts of the tax code. So for most people filing this tax form, I don't think that you would enter really much of anything here. So so you may need to calculate your taxes differently if you have to use the Schedule D tax worksheet in the instructions for Schedule D. You would do that if you had specific types of income that were subject to a different tax. So sale of collectibles is taxed at a different rate. Certain other assets that you might have sold and reported on Schedule D. There's a series of worksheets, and we'll put links in the show notes to the resources we've created for Schedule D, because you can look those up and then drill down into those videos and articles as you need to. So we'll leave that there for now. The amount from Schedule 2. Schedule 2 reports additional taxes, and then line 3 is a compilation of different taxes such as excess premium tax credit for people that are using the healthcare exchange. Let's see, the alternative minimum tax that may be calculated. I don't know that those two would apply here. There's also an extra calculation for the clean vehicle tax credit that would go into this. So we'll just assume that there's $1,000. We won't go into detail on where that came from. And so now we're going to add those two together, 6827. So now the rest of this is going to be tax credits that can reduce these. Generally, these are non-refundable tax credits, so they're going to reduce your tax bill, but they won't be able to reduce your tax bill below zero. Now, when we get to the payments portion, you'll see things like the additional child tax credit. That is known as a refundable tax credit, which means that not only can it reduce your tax bill to zero, it can generate a refund even in a year where you don't owe any income tax. So we'll talk a little bit more about what types of credits that would look like later on. But right now we're talking about the child tax credit or the credit for other dependents from Schedule 8812. That's on your form. That's under Form 1040. We'll put a link in the show notes to Schedule 8812 because there are some parents who file Schedule 8812 that may be able to take that child tax credit. And then that should also match the checkbox up here for your dependents. So if you're checking the child tax credit, then it stands to reason that you would be able to claim that tax credit here. So let's say that that's $2,000. Schedule 3 reports other tax credit, other non-refundable tax credits. There's a whole long list of them that go into Schedule 3. So let's just say that that's an extra $1,000. So we're going to add those two lines up. We get $3,000 of total non-refundable tax credits that we're going to subtract from line 18, and that gives us $3,827. Now separately, we're going to include some other taxes here. So there's a tax on income that's not effectively connected with the U.S. trade or business. That would be on Schedule NEC, which only Form 1040 NR filers file. Other taxes from Schedule 2, that would include self-employment tax, plus a long list of other taxes on Schedule 2. So let's just say that that's $2,000. And then the transportation tax. So the transportation tax generally is for non-resident alien individuals are subject to a 4% tax on U.S. source gross transportation income that is not effectively connected with a U.S. trade or business. So for purposes of this tax, transportation income will be treated as not effectively connected with the conduct of a trader or business in the United States unless you had a fixed place of business involving transportation and at least 90% of your U.S. source transportation income was attributed to regularly scheduled transportation. So if you're in the transportation business, there may be additional steps that you should read through in the form instructions. For this purpose, we'll just assume that John Doe is not subject to any transportation tax, and we did not previously calculate any tax on income not effectively connected with a U.S. trade or business. So when we add up lines 23A through 23C, we get a total of $2,000. And then we're going to add this to the existing tax up here, and that is $58.27. So that takes us to the conclusion of our tax and credits. And again, we're going to stop here. So in the next video, we'll go over the different payments, where you would find the forms, and how you would report them on your tax return. So as you're going through this tax return, be mindful that you should keep copies of all the information returns, like your 1099s and things of that nature, the forms that you receive from your employer, from people that have paid you. You should also keep copies of all of these schedules that you're having to complete. So all of that is going to accompany your Form 1040-NR when you actually file it. So as I previously mentioned, we'll put links in the show notes to resources that we've created about some of the forms and schedules mentioned here. So if you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's another topic that you'd like to see in an upcoming video, please hit us up in the comment section. Thank you very much and have a great day.